Have you ever looked at your phone on a Friday night and seen absolutely nothing, while everyone else seems to be posting stories from crowded rooms, capturing moments of loud laughter and endless social events? Your own world is completely silent. Society has a very specific narrative for this. It tells you that this silence is a failure. Loneliness creeps into your mind, whispering that you are falling behind in the grand game of life, making you wonder if you are simply broken. But what if society is completely wrong? What if the quiet nature of your life, your very small circle of friends, or having no close friends at all right now, is not a symptom of rejection? What if, instead, it is a badge of profound selection? Today, we are going to explore a deeply misunderstood truth. We will uncover why a lack of friends is not proof that you are failing. It is, in fact, proof that you are finally waking up. Stay with me until the very end, because the final insight we discuss will fundamentally shift how you view your own company forever. Let us look back at the greatest minds in human history. They did not chase crowds, they actively avoided them. Albert Einstein required intense, unbroken isolation. He once noted that the monotony and solitude of a quiet life stimulates the creative mind. He understood that you cannot hear the subtle whispers of genius when you are surrounded by the deafening noise of small talk. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome, could have had any company or superficial distraction he desired. Yet, he sought true refuge only in the quiet corners of his own mind. Seneca explicitly advised his students to avoid the masses, knowing that the crowd is an infectious force that pulls you down, and Epictetus taught that true character is forged far away from the applause of others. These historical giants did not view solitude as a punishment. They used it as a tool, a forge where their greatest ideas and strongest virtues were hammered into shape. Let us break down exactly what your quiet life means right now through 4 powerful insights. Insight number 1. You speak a language most people have not learned. Have you ever poured your heart out about your goals, your deepest struggles, or your philosophy of life, only to be met with a blank stare or a superficial joke that instantly changes the subject? In that moment, the isolation hits you harder than if you were actually alone. It is the specific pain of being surrounded by people, yet feeling completely unseen. But you must understand this. You are not weird or too intense. You are simply trying to plant deep roots in incredibly shallow soil. Look at the modern social landscape. Most circles are built entirely on convenience. They bond over complaining about their jobs, gossiping, or obsessing over the latest fleeting trend. If you are a person whose mind is constantly searching for truth, clarity, and personal evolution, you will naturally find yourself walking alone more often. This is not a social deficit. It is a difference in gravity. You simply carry a heavier, more meaningful frequency. When you speak a language of depth, those who only know the alphabet of shallow small talk will never be able to translate your soul, and that is perfectly fine. Insight number 2. Silence is the ultimate mirror. Ask yourself, why are so many people completely terrified of being alone? Why do they panic when their phone dies? Why do they leave the television running in an empty house? Because without the constant buzz of notifications and idle chatter, they are forced to do the one thing they have been running from their entire lives. They are forced to look at themselves. Silence acts as a mirror. When the noise stops, your deepest fears, your unhealed traumas, and your true insecurities rise to the surface. Most people cannot handle that reflection. They run to parties or doom scroll endlessly on social media just to avoid sitting alone in a quiet room with their own thoughts. But if you have learned to endure the quiet, if you have the ability to sit in an empty room, face your own mind, and eventually find complete peace, You possess a modern superpower. You are not antisocial. You are practicing the highest form of self-mastery. You are observing your thoughts instead of being blindly controlled by them. You are building an internal fortress that cannot be shaken by external rejection. When you no longer need the noise of the crowd to feel alive, you become truly unstoppable. Insight number 3. A vault of gold beats a pocket full of pennies. Imagine having 50 acquaintances, 50 people who like your photos, wave at you in the street, and invite you to loud gatherings. But when you lose your job or face a spiritual crisis, how many of those 50 people will sit with you in the dark? Probably none. Now, imagine having just one true friend who stands by you in your darkest hour, someone who understands your silence and protects your name when you are not in the room. Which reality would you choose? A pocket full of cheap pennies or a single bar of solid gold? Having no friends for a season is not a tragic accident. It is the active process of pruning your life. Think of a gardener caring for a tree. To make the tree bear rich fruit, the gardener must ruthlessly cut away the dead branches. It looks empty for a while, but it is necessary for growth. Right now, you are refusing to trade your valuable energy for cheap, draining interactions. You are clearing out the social weeds. Maintaining 50 shallow connections takes an enormous amount of mental energy. Energy you could use to build your future or master your craft. View your quiet contact list, not as an empty space, but as a protected sanctuary. You are simply keeping the space clean until someone worthy arrives. Insight number 4. A lighthouse does not chase ships. A lighthouse stands tall on a rocky cliff. It endures massive storms and faces the dark ocean alone, but it never, ever jumps into the water to swim after a passing ship. It simply stands firm, shines its light into the darkness, and trusts that the right ships, the ones looking for a safe harbor, will navigate toward it. You cannot force deep connections. When you feel desperate for friends, the temptation is to compromise. You fake a smile. When you do not find something funny, you pretend to care about trivial drama, just to fit in. You wear a mask. But here is the great tragedy. If you wear a mask, people will fall in love with the mask. You will be trapped playing a character for the rest of your life, feeling utterly alone, even when surrounded by them, because they do not love you. They love the illusion you created. You must stand firm in your solitude. Keep your standards incredibly high. Train your mind, build your body, and become a person of extreme value. When you stop changing your colors to match the crowd, you become a beacon. Slowly, without you having to force it, the right people will notice that light. They will be drawn to your authenticity because they, too, are tired of shallow waters. So, let us return to the main question. What does the silence in your life really mean? It means you refuse to settle. It means you value your own mental peace over the exhausting performance of pleasing a crowd. It means you have accepted the heavy, beautiful burden of being rare. The next time you feel the sting of being alone on a weekend, do not feel sorry for yourself. Remember the quiet genius of Einstein and the unbreakable calm of Marcus Aurelius. Remember that the crowd is almost always walking in the wrong direction. Use this quiet season, build your inner fortress, because when the right people do finally come into your life, they will not be there to rescue you from your loneliness. They will be there to share in your completeness. If this message brought you clarity today, I want you to do 3 simple things. First, subscribe to Stoic Spring. Join a community of people who are building their inner fortress every single day. Second, like this video. Your like tells the algorithm to share this exact truth with someone else who is sitting in their room, feeling completely isolated and needing this reminder. And third, drop into the comments below and type number 1. Writing this tells me